Key and Bexley for the counter signal in northeast Calgary, the one riding in the city that Justin Trudeau managed to secure for the Liberals with his candidate George Chahal. Now, what was George Chahal doing the night before the election? Many have been asking if this video could possibly be Justin Trudeau's candidate, someone who's likely to be made a minister. You're watching this video correctly, and you can see what he's doing here. As told by Glenn Pennant, the owner of this home, who released this video the day after the election, George Chahal is a porch pirate. George Chahal stole election campaign literature that was put at this home, a clearly conservative home, because you can see the lawn sign right here. It was election literature from the conservative candidate telling him and his family where to go to vote. George Chahal didn't like that, so he replaced it with his own campaign literature. Literature that the owners of this home say directed them to a place that wasn't even a polling station, kilometers away from the place that they were actually supposed to vote at. What was George Chahal doing? Why was he misleading, allegedly, the people of this household, conservative voters, very clearly conservative voters? Why was he telling them to go to a place that wasn't actually an election polling station? Why was he misleading voters, allegedly, telling them to go to a place that wasn't even a polling station? Well, I'm about to speak with Glenn Pennant. He's the owner of this home and the person who caught this video of this maybe soon-to-be cabinet minister stealing election literature. Let's go chat with him to see exactly what happened.
And that's him. That's the sheet from Jag. And then he's putting this under my front thing.
And is that not where you're supposed to vote?
No, and actually, that is where, that isn't even a voting station. People have emailed me and told me that's not a voting station.
What do you think his intention was when he came to your home to replace
He wants to get rid of that thing that was sticking on my door, and that was from Jag, and she had the proper address and that, and I can't prove it now because he took it away with him.
So you have a Jag, a conservative lawn sign on your front lawn, so he could have easily seen that you were a conservative supporter and voter.
That's
Do you
right.
think that is what caused him to come here and take your mail?
He took that, it was a poster stuck with tape on my front, and I read it, and just reminded me to go and go to vote, reminded me to vote, and where to vote, which is a Catholic school just around the corner from here. And this here, if you look at that, Coventry is 9.6 kilometers north of me. And then that's not even a polling station.
What do you make of it? Why do you think he would do something like that?
I don't know, except that I'm not a Liberal supporter. I grew up in Ontario under Trudeau's father, and I was a teenager, but as soon as I was allowed to vote, to me, he had wrecked everything. So I started voting Conservative then, and I've always supported Conservative. So it's that's just the way it's been. And I supported Jag last time, and she did a good job for us. She asked me if she was allowed to put that sign on my front. I said certainly. And so why he's doing that, I don't know. But I'm going to submit the report to Elections Canada and have them open a file on it.
Have you considered reaching out to the police specifically?
I haven't, but I'm going to go and I'll talk to them tomorrow.
The stakes couldn't be higher, right? This is
That's
Justin
right.
Trudeau's one member of parliament now in Calgary. He's likely to be a minister. He could be a minister of anything. He could be a very high-profile minister because Justin Trudeau will want to keep this seat in the next election. And that person is a porch pirate who took who misdirected you to a wrong polling station, which is an absolutely insane offense. What do you hope to accomplish from this?
I hope he's charged with something, and I'm totally against anybody doing anything to political posters or anything like that.
Now, I've actually gone to several houses that have a Jag Chota lawn sign on them to see if they got this piece of campaign material from the Conservatives telling them where to go and vote. And I just spoke with the fella here. They didn't have one. They weren't told where to go vote from the Conservatives. That's very typical GOTV efforts for a campaign. And somehow all of these clearly identified Conservative supporters weren't told by the Conservative campaign where to go and vote. Whether that means they did vote or not, I don't know, but that would certainly impact their GOTV efforts. Whether it was George Chahal running around the entire riding, going to every place with a blue sign and taking their mail, I don't know if that happened either. But there's video of him doing it at least once. And if he was willing to do it once, would he be willing to do it a second time? Would his volunteers be willing to do it? We don't know how far this reaches, but we're going to be asking the question. Thank you so much for tuning into our coverage here at the Counter Signal. Our outlet is one of the very few in the entire country that is willing to hold Justin Trudeau to account. In this minority government situation, we need media, independent media, to hold this government to account because the opposition isn't able to do it. Clearly, the mainstream media clearly won't do it. If you go to thecountersignal.com, sign up for my newsletter, and if you can, contribute to the costs of coverage like this, coverage that Justin Trudeau hates, please go and contribute at thecountersignal.com/donate.